So in order to graph lines, there are going to be 4 steps we are going to do. Do you remember the 2 different types of linear equations there are? One of them is slope-intercept form. Do y'all remember that? Y equals mx plus b. And the other one is standard form. For your test, you're also going to get a formula chart. Oh, sorry. And both of these forms will be on your formula chart. Okay, so y equals mx plus b is slope-intercept, and then ax plus by equals c is standard. For slope-intercept, we can graph lines. Can I graph a line just looking at a standard equation? No. What am I going to have to do? I'm going to have to change it to slope-intercept. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So our very first step in graphing lines is to make the equation y equals mx plus b. First thing we want to do is make sure our equation is y equals. Is y by itself? Because if y is not, we can't graph it. Also, if it already is, we want to label m and b. By the way, that's my and symbol. M and b. So are y'all okay with me flipping back and forth? So we're going to do the first example if y'all can flip over once you wrote this down. I'll flip back if you didn't get it. Looking at this first equation, is it in slope-intercept form? Is it y by itself? Yeah. So now we can just label, what is my m? How do we know that's my m? Because it's next to the x. Remember we did that yesterday? What is my b? 1. Cool. Now, what do I do next to graph this line? Totally, we could type it in the calculator and look, but I want to try to do that without this. Where am I going to begin? With the b. I'm going to begin with the b. And what's my b here? Plus 1. Where am I going to begin at? 1 up from the origin, the y-axis. So we're always going to begin with our b on the y-axis. That's my y-intercept. So I'm going to put a big fat dot on 1 because that's where I'm beginning. And then let's go write that down. So step 2, we have to plot our y-intercept, which is our b. And once we plot our y-intercept, Jonathan, you said the rest is the slope. We need to graph. We graph the slope. The m. Say that again? That's number 3. Yep. So step 2 is to plot the y-intercept. Step 3 is to graph the slope m. And we do that by doing rise over run. So rise over run, we're always going to be doing 2 things. Well, I'll give y'all a minute to write it down. What if my slope is only 1 number, like this 2? Nope, we always put it over 1. Because don't you agree 2 divided by 1 is just 2? Same thing. So if it's not a fraction, we have to make it a fraction by putting it over 1. Now, what direction am I going to rise? Y up. Because it's positive, I'm going to go up 2. And what I tell my students is we always go to the right. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. If you want to get it right, you're always going to go to the right. So from this point right here, go straight up to right 1. If you need help with this, you can kind of make a little staircase. Up to right 1 with the stairs. Up to right 1. Eventually, you'll get rid of the stairs because you got it down. Up to right 1. Now, I only drew half the line, right? So let's do the rest of it by going down 2, backwards 1. Down 2, backwards 1. And my last step, so we plotted the y-intercept, we graphed the slope, right? Last thing we got to do is what? Grab your badge. 2 things. Connect the points and draw arrows. So that is step 4. Connect your points and draw arrows. Remember, that's an and sign. And those are our 4 steps to graphing lines. How do we feel about that? Okay? All right, again, the one we just did, do you agree it was already y equals? Okay, what if it is not y equals, like the second one? What am I going to have to do? I got to convert it. I'm going to have to get y by itself. Well, how can I get y by itself? What do I got to get rid of first? Not the 3, the 2x. So I always tell the story. I tell a story about my ex-husband. He had a side chick. Found out he had a side chick. I told him, you got to get rid of your side chick, right? So how would we get rid of, this is the side chick. How would we get rid of her? Subtract 2x. You always get rid of your side chick first. I know there's not a lot of room here. I apologize. Be careful when you're bringing this down. What are you going to bring down? Don't forget to bring down negative 3y. A lot of people made the mistake last period of just putting 3y. And then we're not going to actually subtract these. We're just going to bring down the negative 2x, and we're going to bring down positive 15. Why can we not add them together or subtract them? Because of the x. So just bring it down. Is y by itself? No. My whole husband cheated on me. Am I going to accept that? Absolutely not. What am I going to do? I'm going to divorce him. So divorce means we divide. These are multiplying. We can't add. We got to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So we're going to divide and get rid of this whole husband. Sorry, I'm not a ride or die. For the record, that is a fake story. My husband never cheated on me. I don't have an ex-husband. I've only been married once. So I wish this had more room. We're going to write it right here. What is my equation? What is negative 2 divided by negative 3? Put that in your calculator if you're not sure. Negative 2 divided by negative 3. Put it in the calculator. Positive 2 over 3. Divided by, you're multiplying. What is 15 divided by negative 3? Negative 5. So this is the equation we will be dealing with. Do I have any questions about any step I just took? We're okay? How do I graph this? Where do I begin at? The y, negative 5. Draw a big fat point right there. How am I going to move? Up 2, because y up? It's positive. And we always go to the right. So I'm going to go up 2, right 3. Do the staircase if you need it. Up 2, right 1, 2, 3. Draw your point. Up 2, right 1, 2, 3. and then go backwards. Oh, what? No. I've been telling that story for years. No. I would not have shown y'all pictures of him if that boy cheated on me. All right, is this an acceptable graph?
No.
Why not? No lines, no arrows. You need both. You will get points off.
Wait, the fact is allowed no arrow?
Yeah, no arrows, points off. I need arrows. Yep. We're petty patty over here. All right. Do I have any questions? I'm going to give y'all a song, and I would like you to do both of these. I'm going to walk around, ask questions, or I'm going to play one song, and that's the time that you have. That's my timer. So you have a whole song. I want you to do both of these problems, and then we'll see. Yes. Yep. If it's negative x, that's a negative 1x. So you can put a 1 right there. Yeah, coming. Make sure you're using pencil. That makes sense? Okay. So dividing them. You're getting the fraction, that's okay. Oh, okay. And if you're ever unsure, you can actually. Yes. Right. So if you were to go up and you can't do it now go backwards. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. I'm gonna give you about another minute and a half. All right. This one was a little bit different than our last one. Why? How did you start it off? You added. So remember, your goal is to get y by itself right here. And this is a negative 4x. So you had to add 4x. Did everybody do that? All right. Remember, can I make those 44? No, because they are different. So I'm just going to bring down 4x and bring down positive 40. Then what did y'all do? Sorry, it's frozen. There you go. Divide by 5. Oh, there's no pretty place to put this. Okay, we're going to do it right here. So y equals, did y'all get 4/5 x plus, what's 40 divided by 5? 8. Y'all good with that? Where am I going to begin? 8. Do a big fat dot on 8. And how am I going to move? Y up. Y right. We always go right, and it's positive. So if I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, right, 1, 2, I'm going to end up somewhere right there. Is that helpful? No. So just go backwards now. Instead of going up 4, right 5, we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, backwards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this what your graph looks like? Did you connect your points and draw arrows? Cool. All right, last one. This one's a little bit tricky. Why? Because it's just an x. What did we say to put right here? So what is my m? -1. What is my b? -3. Don't forget that negative with it. Where do I begin? -3. And here's where everybody messes up. How am I going to move? Down 1 over, we always put it over 1. Right. You're still going to go to the right. What a lot of people do is they go down 1 left. Go down and right. Down and right. Down 1, right 1. Down 1, right 1. Is your line going down? Is everybody in here's line going down? Yeah. So just before you turn it in or before you move on to the next problem, look at your slope and say, hey, should my line be going up or down? Just to make sure, because that's the biggest mistake people make is their line just goes the wrong direction. Okay. We are done with these notes. You are going to be able to use them later. So please fold them back up or put them to the side. You now have a worksheet. So if you can grab this worksheet. We just wrote the steps. I'm not going to have you write them again. So we are going to skip writing the steps. And I'm going to do number 1 and 2 with you real quick, just to practice standard form, because that seems to be where everybody's kind of struggling the most. So for number 1, again, what is my goal when I want to get into slope intercept form? Y by itself. That is my goal, is to get y by itself. So I always find it and box it. How can I get y by itself? -4x. And what you do to one side, do to the other. Please make sure you're writing the x. A lot of people just write -4. Don't do that. It's -4x. And what is y going to equal? And if you write it the other way, you're still correct. There's nothing wrong with that. If you wrote -7 -4x, that's perfectly fine. And we're done. How do we know we're done? Because y is by itself. We're good. Okay, let's do the same thing with the next one. Box your y. Is it by itself? Nope. What can I do to get it by itself? Okay, it's just an x, but what really is there? So I'm going to put a 1x in front of it, and I'm going to subtract 1x from both sides. Am I going too fast? Okay. What am I going to bring down?
Oh, negative.
Good job. Don't forget that negative. Negative 2y. Negative 1. There's a lot of negatives. Negative 20. That's a lot of negatives. What is my last step? Divide. Divorce, divide. In your calculators, what is negative 1, or in your head, negative 1 divided by negative 2? Okay, I always want fractions. You're not wrong. 0.5 is correct, but I want fractions. Just 1 over 2. And don't forget the x. What is negative 20 divided by negative 2? And now can we identify m and b? Yeah, sure. Are you feeling a little bit more confident than maybe when you walked in? Okay, we're going to skip 3. I'm not worried about number 3. I would now like you have about 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I would like you to finish this worksheet. So y'all have 6 problems to do and graph. Let's do 5 problems. I said 6. That's wrong. You have 6, 7, 8. Let's do the last one together though, real quick. Y equals 4. What's my slope? Is there an x? So what's my slope? What's my slope? 0. This is the same thing as y equals 0x plus 4. Do y'all agree? So let's think about it. When slope is 0, we learned yesterday. When slope is 0, what kind of line is that? The straight line at what? A flat line at 4. Remember yesterday, 0 slope, you have 0 heartbeat. Does that make sense? Okay, y'all now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 graphs to do in 18 minutes. Work together. Raise your hand if you need help. I am here. Remember, today's goal is by the end of the day, I can graph a line in slope-intercept form. I can graph a line in standard form. Those are our goals.